Do you think that top players they get this controller probably for free, right? Like we don't know, we're not entirely sure. They're kind of advertising it. It doesn't seem like it's some scheme. I can't say that because obviously it's not going to turn some below average player into a top player, but it also doesn't seem like there's a lot of discussion. This is what I mentioned earlier. It doesn't seem like it's open and about where these top players are like, yeah, I'm probably playing on a broken controller that makes my skills even better, but they're not talking about it in the same regard that you are in terms of legality and fairness. Like, what's your take on that? Because it's
So
more of a yeah. Go ahead.
I have an interesting take on this. I think in this world, something that I've especially learned recently is that the professional world runs largely on public relations, and in general, if you're if you're like intruding on someone else's hustle, you become viewed as the bad guy. And so I think you can subtly see this in like the way that a lot of the top players are talking about it. They just kind of hint at the fact
Yes,
that
yes.
there's like a problem here, but they don't come out and say it. They don't want to be hacks basically. It's like they don't want to be me because look at what can happen to you, right? So it's like by all means there should in principle be people coming out and saying this probably shouldn't be legal. But because the professional world runs largely on PR, no one wants to be that guy.
Right,
Um,
right.
Even me right now, it's not my time or my place to aggressively come out and be like, yeah, there are a lot of problems with this thing because I've got my own things to focus on. Um, but by all means, I think the Goomwave's a shit show, just
mm.
objectively. And that's not that's not a rare opinion. I promise you, other people are thinking that too, and they just don't want to say it.
Now, that's another question I had. Does this in any way, shape, or form? Because from my take, I felt like 1.03 doesn't really help your quote unquote business with the box at all because it's almost entirely with GameCube controllers, which you're aware of that most of the community uses. I would argue it's like close to like 95, maybe even 97.5% of the community probably uses GameCube controller, or at least has used it, right? Very few people have started out on a box type rectangle controller, but it like some people are questioning, like I said earlier with the motive, does this really help your the business aspect for you? Because I feel like it doesn't do anything for your business side. You're just do you come at it from a point of view it's like I want to see how this works. This is long overdue. I want to do something good with the community. I'm at the right time and place for it. Is that more or less the
So
situation?
I'm definitely the most misunderstood man in the community right now in terms of my general motivations. I've been framed as malevolent just in areas where I've had good intentions. Like I generally do everything that I do out of the desire to make Melee the best that it can be. Like I'm talking in game, politically, everything. But because a lot of my actions are so opinionated and controversial, um, especially in a community where the boat doesn't get rocked too often, I'm often misunderstood. So right now, the issue with Melee is that the GameCube controller is a piece of shit, basically, because there's multiple reasons for this. I think a big one is the button layout. We haven't talked about this one yet, but the biggest advantage the box has over the GameCube controller by far is its layout.
Mm.
Like, to me, the vanilla GameCube controller is unusable because you can't shuffle your aerials properly. You can't jump and then access the C stick within a reasonable amount of time. You can't do it frame perfectly. And it's actually because of a major oversight in the game, which is that they make you jump with the same finger that you then are supposed to hit the C stick with. So the biggest gameplay change by far is the remapping on 1.03. I've been playing on the GameCube controller as much as I can. You know, I could still use it in short bursts, and I've got to say, on this mod, it feels incredible. To me, it's
Mm.
like it's debatably better than the box now if you have notches because it's like now the controllers, in my opinion, are very equalized on 1.03. I think they each have their own distinct advantages. The box has a more cracked dash dance, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
better
yeah.
for like better for stamina on jerky motions. But the GameCube controller now has better analog control, better wave dashing, better Firefox, especially if you have a notched GameCube controller, then it's
Yeah.
no contest. So I feel like the pros and cons are way more in line, whereas they weren't before, mostly because of like layout, and then 1.0 Cardinal, better shield drop, dash back out of crouch on box. Those things were all better. Now they're all very equalized. So now to me, it's almost like you're playing like F-Zero or Mario Kart, where the controllers are kind of like different cars, and their advantages are like very much so in line with each other.
Wow.
It's almost like
That's a freaking good take. That is a really good take. I'd never thought of that. Wow. Wow, that's actually
yeah,
different. They're like different vehicles for the game.
it's like they've got their own stats, but now there's just no way you can make the claim that box is overpowered on
Right, right.
1.03. And that's how I want it to be. That comes before anything else to me is if I see that the game needs progression, like if I see that the GameCube controller has these blatant flaws in its design, I'm not going to withhold 1.03 for business reasons. I'm especially when, as you said, the vast majority of the community uses the GameCube controller, and it'll probably always be that way. I'm gonna go out and altruistically create a memory card that makes the GameCube controller amazing. Um, and I actually disagree with you when you said that it's not in my best business interest to do so,
Okay, go
because
for
I
it.
think it'll show. I think, like, yeah, sure, it'll de-incentivize someone buying the box for advantageous reasons, but it'll incentivize people buying the box out of wanting to support me. I think
Oh, I see.
it would be foolish for me as an entrepreneur to value the short term over the long term in that regard, as well as the social good.
One quick question about the button layout. So the box can't be remapped uh, through its native software, but why should the GameCube controller be allowed to be remapped? I'm confused about the button remap on the GCC because are you saying that only the jump button can be remapped? Because I've read different takes on this, but your video is suggesting that you can remap. Like you weren't entirely sure about the L and R triggers being replaced with jump, but can you remap the entire thing?
Currently, the plan is only to offer a jump remap.
Okay.
That may change, but to answer your question as a whole, the reason that it's like that is because the box, in my eyes, objectively should not be remapped. There's only one remap I would ever consider on the box, and it's switching light shield with mid shield, like
Mm.
mid-size light shield, and those are both at the top right. If you want to do that, then you can just rewire the buttons. It takes 5 seconds. There's no need to provide like a tool for it, because like a software client for it, because what I've seen is that if you offer a software client, there ends up being a lot of cases in which the consumer will remap the controller in ways where they don't foresee the disadvantages that it will cause them down the line. The box layout is designed with the long term in mind. There's there are actual objective reasons for why, uh, in my opinion, no remap should ever be performed on this controller. And then on the flip side, the GameCube controller objectively needs a jump remap because you should not be jumping with the same button that you're performing an aerial attack with.
Right. Yeah, that's the key thing that I saw. So that was pretty big actually. But I haven't used as I said in the previous interview, I use a Smashbox and I haven't used a GameCube controller in so long. So it's just like, oh man, like I never even thought of that. I did think about the travel distance over the A, and if you really think about it, you can't really replace A and B functionality. So there'd only be so many ways you could remap it anyway. So I wasn't really sure about it myself. But have you come to the conclusion that it's like you got to replace the triggers with jump? Like you're pretty clear on that?
Right now, I'm very in favor of swapping Z specifically. I think Z is like the clear cut best swap. The reason
Hmm.
I say that is because with the shoulder triggers, I actually don't recommend swapping. Excuse me, I actually don't recommend swapping your jump to a digital shoulder trigger, meaning one without the spring,
Without the
because
springs, yeah.
Yeah, pressing the digital button on L or R, it's like 100 grams, and that is hell to short hop with. So I don't recommend that. And then that leaves you with the option of short hopping with the analog spring, which I just find it a little weird. I
Hmm.
think I think you want your jump to be on a digital button that doesn't have as much actuation force.
I see.
So that leaves Z. So there's like a chance that we remove all remapping except for a Z swap specifically. But there's also still a chance that we introduce more remapping options. This is all TBD because there's still
Okay.
like a month.
Okay. Now, I've taken up a lot of your time, but I did want to talk a little bit about a little nostalgia, a little past the 20 years. I've taken a lot of your time. Can I ask you a few questions, like to shift gears a little bit?
Oh, yeah, what's up?
All right. So, 20 years of Melee. So, the first one, I want to make it a fun one. Um, Chronologically, from the beginning to now, do you have any memorable sets, moments that maybe we don't know about publicly when you reflect upon the 20 years? Because it's a long time. You've been playing competitively since '05. I've been playing since '06. I was in college then. I was playing on and off. But you've been playing a long. You were playing with J-Man as Little Rascals. I followed your career. I followed your career, man. You played a lot of Melee. Nostalgia wise, it's like from a fun kind of retrospective. What do you see when you look back?
Missed opportunities.
Hmm.
Um, I right now have a career that is very unfulfilled, and that's
Hmm.
due to a combination of bad luck and not seizing specific moments. Meaning, I'm somebody who, like, if we went back in time and I did certain things correctly, I could have easily been regarded as the best in the world right now. I actually think that. Like, if you go back to the time period where I was like the one right outside of the gods projected to become as good as them, like 2013, 2014. Then I switched to Fox, but then like my hands break, so I miss out on the entire golden era of the game. Um, that me missing out on like 2015 to 2017 as a top player because of injuries sidelines the timeline that we go down by quite a lot. And then COVID came at the worst time because I eventually became a top player again, and then COVID shut that down, and then I made some political maneuvers and got banned for them. And so now I'm kind of just the guy who at this point needs to stick to the game, get on band, and finish what I started.
You feel a lot more regret. You don't look at the highlights. You and Nintendo, you and West Balls, you and Zoo. You don't look at the highlights of your playing career.
Absolutely do.
Okay.
Oh, I absolutely do. Don't get me wrong. It's just that right now, I didn't mean to bring up all of that in like a negative way because I'm using it to look forward to the future. Like
Ah.
you can tell I'm on my grind right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now it's like I'm in an interesting juncture of my life where these recent shortcomings of mine, getting banned and whatnot, may have been a blessing in disguise because I've been grinding harder than ever, in every sense, ever since this whole thing happened. And so now it's like I pretty much want to come back in 2022 as the best version of myself, socially, in game. Uh, I feel finally like ready for the first time in my life to approach the professional world and approach competition with the correct work ethic and mentality. So it's going to be interesting.
Mm. Now, do you think your current play? I asked this in the previous interview. Do you feel like you can reach higher heights now than you did ever when you were either using the GameCube controller as Fox or even when you were, in past years? Do you think you've reached like Dragon Ball Z style? Have you reached a higher level of playing?
Yeah, no question about it.
Wow, wow, that's pretty sick.
Yeah. No, I actually like very much so liken this whole thing to DBZ. I feel like right now, um, I just can't wait to come back and show the whole world what I've got, honestly. Like first I'm gonna like right now, this next month, it's all 1.03. It's all 1.03 in
Mm-hmm.
YouTube for me.
Sure.
Um, I basically just decided that I want to be the change that I want to see within the community. And so I want to set the example. So that's the focus for now. And then hopefully come 2022, jump right back into competition. And I'm still grinding every day. So
YouTube. I wanted to talk about that. I'm a YouTuber. I want to get bigger and bigger, and I want to see how far I can go. Your videos are pretty great, man. I think they're pretty amazing. It's really original. It's very special. What started this for you? Like, how did you go from, you're playing all the time, you're selling the box. Like, how did you start this? Because it's definitely one of the more unique voices in Melee that we have.
box was what changed everything because before the box, yeah, I took an interest in frame data. Like I think the two turning points were Fox and then the box. So Fox was rap god, by the way.
Yeah.
The reason Fox was the first turning point is because it got me thinking about frame data. Like, I started playing Fox at Evo 2013. I had been feeling the Fox switch for quite some time leading up to then. I think the catalyst was seeing Mango win. The same day,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
next day, I started grinding Fox in the hotel room, and I realized like Mango's got the psychological side of the game down pat, but this character has a highly scientific side to him,
Mm.
and so I want to be the guy who masters that. And that was my mindset back then. That was where the whole 20XX thing came from. But now, 8 years later, I'm a lot more laid back. I'm kind of like half frame nerd, half Zen mode.
Sure,
Like
sure.
you gotta master both sides of the coin to master melee. Like to be the true definitive melee player, you gotta view the game through my lens and through Mango's lens simultaneously. Meaning
Mm.
you keep the science in the back of your mind, but ingrain it into your subconscious and let it flow from there.
Oh
That's the
man.
ideal melee player, and I'm capable of being that. Um, so then Fox was like the starting point for this whole mentality because he got me thinking about the game from like a scientific point of view. But then the box was what pushed things over the top because at that point I had to study coordinates, and
Ah, I see, I see.
prior to that I had never done such a thing. Like I was just like most other melee players, no coordinate understanding and not too much of a physics understanding either. So to design the box, I had to change all of that, and that got me addicted to making these types of YouTube videos.
Wow, wow. So there's two things. One, I would love to talk to you more about that YouTube stuff. Maybe save that for another time. And the mentality stuff, that is some gold stuff because I feel like everyone knows what exactly you're talking about. It's so hard to achieve. And that's just what makes this game so beautiful because you can't just be technical, you can't just be fast. You got to master the mental side, which is we'll definitely talk about that later. Definitely talk about that later. Streaming. Why don't you do streaming, man? What's going on there? I've heard different rumors about you with streaming. Why don't you stream?
Um, so I used to be like very anti-streaming, and I still am to a degree. So I'll tell you why
Okay.
I'm more of a fan of the YouTube than the streaming. I think YouTube serves more of a purpose for society unless you're trying to go like full entertainment route like Mango, meaning you're drawing in thousands of viewers at a time and you're very entertaining the whole way through. I don't think I have it in me to be like that. I think I function better in environments where I'm able to prepare my work and I don't have to like perform in the moment. I think when I'm performing in the moment, I need really ideal conditions. Like that's where I struck the balance. I was streaming a few months ago, and what I was doing was it was just no mic, no cam. Very dedicated to the game because I
Hmm.
just feel like I can't play melee unless I'm completely focused on the game. And what I kind of want to do is after I restore my image a bit and get on band is go back to streaming with no mic, no cam. And, let's say I get rank one in the world, people will watch.
Absolutely, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, so like I kind of just want to be a grinder. I don't know if you know Siglemic, the Mario speedrunner.
No, I don't.
Good friend of mine. I still talk to him a lot. He had like the same mentality with Mario. He was the best in the world at one point, and he was a no mic, no cam streamer because he felt that he needed to focus on the game and let the gameplay speak for itself.
Now I respect that, and I had an inkling that that was the idea. But let's be real though, because we talked for a little bit about how back in the day there was no money in Melee, and to an extent there is very little money. Like you don't want to do it for the profit. You don't want to do it for the social currency. Like you don't want to make it into like a side revenue stream. Like why not? Why not? You don't want to try to because I disagree a little bit. I think you're pretty entertaining, man. I think the persona, the reputation, all that stuff that'll come through on a stream. I've seen you on Mango Stream before back in the day. It was pretty damn funny, man.
Yeah, yeah, all right, you're not wrong. It's just I think deep down, my highest priority is like training and being the best melee player that I can be. And if I have to decrease my salary in order to do that, then at the end of the day, like when I look back at this whole thing in another 10 years from now, when I'm presumably retired, what am I gonna care more about? Making an extra couple $10,000 a year or being the game's definitive player? And the answer is definitely going to be being the game's definitive player. And so I'm willing to sacrifice money in order to make sure that I'm at the top of my game.
Wow, wow, that's ballsy, man. Respect, gotta respect it. Two quick ones, and then we should call it a day. The state of Melee 2021. Let's tie it in with the previous question because there's probably a larger question, but can you make a career out of this? Let's say people are listening to this, they're like, man, I want to be Hacks Money, I want to be that dope fox. Like, can you really build a career out of it now? I mean, it's different when you look back, right? Because let's tie all this together. 20 years ago, you couldn't. It was literally out of the passion of the game. That's what we were doing. We were a bunch of sweaty nerds in a basement, and we had to move venues sometimes. We had to do all sorts of like just terrible things. We were grassroots, but it's not so much for you because you've reached a level that's beyond 99.9% of all players. Let's say a talented prospect but is unsure about the career aspirations. Can you do it? Can you go down that path? I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I'm going to give you the real answer that no one wants to give you. The answer right now is close. It's not necessarily no, but it's close to no.
Mm.
Meaning, if you weren't there for the initial boom, like the boom in 2013, it's going to be tough. Sadly, I don't think the game's on an upward trajectory right now.
Wow.
I'm trying to turn that around in multiple ways. I think I can have like a Chris Moneymaker effect on the game. Are you familiar?
No. Oh, the poker player. Yeah, in '03. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually think, believe it or not, despite the fact that I'm still like semi-exiled, that I play a major role in the way the rest of the game plays out. Like I'm kind of in the hyperbolic time chamber right now, and I'm looking to nail it with 1.03. I actually like have the potential to give the game resurgences in multiple ways. Like 1.03 is going to be big, um, for reasons that we haven't gone over. There's lots of unannounced features on it. It's going to be great. And then from there, if I can make this 20xx prophecy come true after all these years, then I can start a real interesting arc within the game. Like you see how my YouTube content, it's very different as you mentioned, right? It's
Yeah.
very educational. The game, in my opinion, deserves to trend in that direction, a direction where people really understand the engine very well, because it translates to huge advantages within the game itself when you're
Mm.
competing. But it feels like right now the top players don't understand some of these a lot of these concepts, and I think the game should trend in the direction where they do. So I think in order to get people to like listen to me, I'm gonna have to become stronger, basically.
Hmm. Oh, you're a player in the game. You're not killed off yet. You know, if this is the Game of Thrones, you know, no one's killed you off quite yet. You're definitely a player in the story. So even in your exile and the videos, I
Oh
mean, no
wait,
matter what,
your
they're creating discussion.
your mic cut out, man.
Oh, okay.
Like
Can
no,
you hear
like
me?
just go back to like 15 seconds ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you're absolutely a player in the story. You know, you're not killed off yet. You know, you're in it for sure. And how this all plays out, like you said, if the game is got like basically 5 to 10 years left, I'm very excited to see what role you play in it. It's definitely been up and down, as you mentioned, and there's been some, you know, opportunities here and there, but you're not killed off yet. I'm pretty confident about that. No one's written off your storyline.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's like a second coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Last thing, what can we look forward to without revealing all the details? What do you have planned for us? How are you going to reveal it? What's going on, man?
I'm looking forward to 1.03, and I've got 1.03 planned, and I'm gonna reveal 1.03
Oh, come on. When? When's the timeline here? Come on. You got to give me that at least. Next month? What's going on?
whenever I choose to reveal 1.03.
Oh, come on. Don't be that. By the end of the year. Come on. Holidays.
Next month, bro.
Next month?
Next month.
Next month? Okay.
Yeah.
Look, Aziz, you've been very gracious with your time. Thank you so much for it. We'll keep in touch, and thanks again, man.
Yeah, man. No problem. Good talking to you.